The Hunt for Poetry by Marissa Krager. One day, Mrs. Straw told her fourth grade class that they were beginning a poetry unit. The first type of poetry they would write about were to be haikus. Mrs. Straw told Johnny and his classmates that they were going to go outside to find inspiration for their poems. They would write their haikus about something they observed while outside. The only catch was that no two students could write about the same thing. Once outside, the first thing Johnny saw was a mama bird feeding her babies in their nest in the big tree. That's what Johnny would write about. How easy! But to his dismay, as he came round to the other side of the tree for a better view, he found that Julie was already there watching them. So Johnny continued to wander around, and after a few minutes, he came to the little pond behind the school. In the pond, Johnny saw a frog sitting on a lily pad and snatching flies out of the air. That's what Johnny would write about. But just as he sat down to think of a poem, he noticed a movement behind the rocks. He glanced over to see Jared laying there writing his poem about the frog. That's okay, thought Johnny, and he continued his walk. Out of nowhere, a chipmunk with his cheeks full of acorns ran past him. But just as Johnny started to pull out his pencil, he saw Jacob run past too, obviously chasing after the chipmunk, and assumedly the reason the chipmunk was running in the first place. Disheartened and ready to give up, Johnny walked away to be alone and plopped down on a big rock in the middle of an empty area and began to sulk. 3 minutes left, Mrs. Straw shouted from her chair by the building. They had already been outside for 12 minutes, and Johnny hadn't seen anything cool. He knew that he would just have to settle with writing about something boring, like grass. Nobody would be raving about his poems when they went back inside. Johnny was about to begin his haiku about grass when all of a sudden a bunch of ducklings came waddling over to him. Perfect, thought Johnny, and just when he thought it couldn't get any better, one of the ducklings managed to jump into his lap. This would make the best haiku of the whole class. Mrs. Straw, whom had seen this happening, took this opportune moment to snap a picture for Johnny to keep. Johnny had such a great experience that not only was he able to write his haiku, but he wrote two and didn't know which one to turn in. So he tried turning them both in and got an A+, and everybody loved them.